My word, somebody. Keith, do you want to start us off?
Maybe a guessing, maybe wrong. Have you ever been involved in a game before where you're 5-0 up after 20 minutes and what goes through your mind?
I'm not sure if I have. I can't remember, which might sound a surprise, but I've got no idea. What goes through your head? No, it's always about managing the game. I think even at 5-0 after 20 minutes, the game's not done. There's a lot of time to play. I've seen crazy things happen in football. So with the quality that Tottenham have got in the front areas, we had to keep our composure and concentration. I thought we did that. I thought the players deserve a lot of credit for what they gave today. It was a top class performance.
Was it a tactic to go as from the, I mean, you normally do start fast, but was it a tactic to go out from the off like that because they changed from the usual 5 to 4?
Yeah, I don't think it's formation dependent. We want to try and start games like that, especially here at home. But it's easier said than done, as I've said before. You know, the first goal probably changes everything, changes the feel. The supporters were magnificent for us. They really got in the game. It was an electric atmosphere. It was an electric performance from us, and we were clinical in front of goal. So everything went our way in that early stage of the game.
You touched on it in your first answer, but glanced down and saw you after about 15 minutes before the other time, and you and Jason Tinder were still barking orders at players. Did you feel there was still like improvement even at that stage?
Well, I think you're always in the game, so you always want more. So you're never going to sit there and sit back and go, right, lads, everything's great, because in football it can turn within seconds. So it's about demanding more and making sure we maintained our high standards from that early start to the game. We always want to try and give a team that is wanting to score in any phase of the game. So I mean, we pride ourselves on that, and the players delivered it brilliantly.
And obviously across the pitch you had some outstanding contributions. I thought down the left hand side, Willock and Joe Linton together with their exchange was as good, certainly as good as we've seen.
Yeah, I thought those two players complemented each other really well. I think they've built actually a really good relationship in the last few weeks by dovetailing position, and they've got a really good understanding. But I thought all the units functioned today, so whether that's the front line, the midfield, the defence in conjunction with them in terms of feeding them the ball, and our relationships on the pitch were very good.
So just finally, are you thinking about, we're talking about Champions League yet, or is it still the same as?
Me personally, Keith, no. I'm talking about Everton now and making sure we focus on our next game. We went there this time last year really in a very similar position, in the sense of evening game, Everton desperate for the win themselves, we were desperate for the win, and it was a difficult evening for us, so we need to learn the lessons from that. We know how hostile it's going to be.
Damien?
Eddie, that said, the players are going to be thinking and dreaming about that top four now. How do you keep feet on the ground?
I think from what I see and feel from the group, I don't sense that. I don't sense they're looking ahead. I don't think we can afford to look ahead. I think we can only afford to look ahead as in day by day, and making sure that we come in to training tomorrow with the right attitude and thinking about our next performance and how we could have improved today's performance. That's always how I've worked. You review, you take the good bits and you take the bits you can improve, and then you try and put the foundations in place to allow you to improve. So that's what we're doing.
And just on Alexander Isak, are we starting to see why you were prepared to pay so much money?
I think that's always been there, to be honest, since he's come to the club, even from his first game against Liverpool. I think there's been evidence of why we thought so highly of him. Really pleased with him again today. He showed a real mixture in his game, because he was going long and short and building play and helping link our front line, but then was there when we needed him to be to add the finishing touches to two great moves.
Craig?
Eddie, as good as your side were, what did you make of the opposition during the opening 20 minutes?
I actually thought Tottenham at some stages in that game were very good. You know, when you look at Kane and Son's ability to counter-attack and to create chances, that they had 3 or 4 good chances in the game. They scored a good goal. So we were never comfortable, I didn't feel, to say that the game was won. And we respect the opposition and respect their capabilities. I think it was all about us though today and how well we played.
Aaron?
Eddie, you've obviously beaten Spurs, Man United, Chelsea, St James' Park, and driven Man City. Is there a simple answer as to why Newcastle just played so well against the top teams this season?
I think in part we have to mention the supporters. I think at home with how we want to play. I think I always say it's a two-way relationship. We need to give the supporters something to get into the game with. I thought we did that today with how we started the match, and then they give us so much back. They give us energy, they give us the ability to maintain our high physical outputs, and they also unsettle the opposition. So I have to pay a big thank you to them today.
Jake Murphy only scored once before today. How important is it for him to start to add goals to his game? How big a boost do you think this is?
Yeah, I think every attacking player needs that in their game. They need goals, they need output. Jacob has delivered a lot in terms of helping the team. I'm delighted he gets the recognition really that his performances or recent performances have deserved. 2 really good finishes. First one was a tight angle, the second one was an absolutely brilliant finish from range. But his all-round game again is of the highest level, so really pleased for him.
Okay, George.
Really, I mean, you are a very composed man, but that first 10 minutes, it was astonishing. It was head-spinning. Do you not have any? There's no part of you kind of get lost in those moments at all when it's.
No, because you're thinking about the next 10 minutes. So yeah, I enjoyed watching what I was seeing, and I was enjoying the team looking like it was playing at its very peak of what we can do. But there's always the next phase of the game, and I've got full respect for the opposition, so we knew the game wasn't over. But I think when I watch it back, that's when I'll truly appreciate what I'm seeing, and yeah, I'm just delighted with everyone.
And then just a word on that pass from Joe Willock. I don't know if you've seen that again.
I haven't seen it again, but I don't want to almost see it again because it would disturb my vision of what it was live. It was an incredible ball. The right angle, the right flight to get the whip on it that he needed with the outside of his right foot was it was a great pass.
And again, sorry, just to kind of go back to that first point, I know you've already mentioned the crowd, but that atmosphere in such a big match for both teams does play a huge part in what you're doing and what you've done.
It does, yeah. I think it's a two-way thing. We're a team, and either side has an important role within that team to make it as difficult as we can for every opponent that comes here. The crowd today were, I thought, incredible. I think that's up there with the best atmospheres I've experienced at St James's Park, and a big thank you to everybody.
Luke?
I know you're probably already thinking you've alluded to this, the key, but the job's not done, is it? This is no way, this can't be the pinnacle of your season at 5 or 6 months.
No, it can't, Luke. You're absolutely right. I think we have a lot of work to do, a lot of games to come, a lot of points to play for. So nothing was decided today. Either way, nothing was going to be decided. But hopefully we can take all the positives from today in terms of performance, confidence, and we can use that to fuel us for these games that we have to come. So no, nothing's done.
Does it get harder for you as manager to keep your feet on the ground, or is it a pretty sort of self-policing dressing room in that respect?
I hope it is. I hope it's self-policing. I think we've got enough experience in there and enough experience of highs and lows within football to know that you can never get too high and carried away with what you've delivered. Certainly from my perspective, I've said many times I've got no problems dealing with the highs because I've had so many lows in my playing career, etc. So I'm already focused on Everton and making sure that we do everything in our power to try and win that game. And I would urge the players to do the same.
And then I guess going away to celebrate, to analyse Everton videos and watch this game back this evening.
I'll be watching this game back with a cup of tea and a biscuit probably.
Ian?
You said that never at any stage did you feel that you'd won the game. At half time, was your team talk suddenly going, well done, that was terrific, or was it, don't be careful, don't let Spurs back into the game?
Neither, to be honest, because I don't believe in necessarily well dones at half time because I think that breeds complacency. So it was about trying to identify areas we could improve. I think human psychology in that position is very different as well. I think when you're 5-0 up, our players are human beings, so I think the game's slightly different. We were urging us to attack and to continue our way of playing. Naturally, the second half though was slightly different.
And because you set such high standards, was there a sense of personal disappointment when Harry Kane scored?
I think whenever the opposition score, there's a feeling of disappointment. That's not just from me, that's from the whole team, because we pride ourselves on trying to keep clean sheets.
Miles?
A few people would expect us to go out here and to come back into the side and next game. Murphy's performance underlined why you felt you can
Yeah, don't think Jacob's done a lot wrong since he's come into the team. I think he's done a lot right. So it's very difficult to justify then leaving him out, as well as Miggy's done this season for us. And I think, again, when you look at it, they're the decisions that I want. Tough call. I certainly considered bringing Miggy back into the team, but I wanted to give the team a chance to respond from what happened at Aston Villa. I wanted to give an opportunity to go and put it right, because we did fall below our standards in that game for the first time, in my opinion, this season. And the response was emphatic. I think Everton will be too early for Maxi, yes. With Fabian, I don't know. We've got a couple of knocks in there.
Mark?
Eddie, you've now beaten Manchester United and beaten Tottenham thoroughly. Do you feel that this shows that you kind of belong in that elite now? The more and more of these kind of wins that you put together, you're showing that it's not flippantly there, you belong in this.
I'd encourage the players to think that way. I think we need that confidence. You play these games if you have doubts. That's not a healthy place to be. So we want the players to go into the game believing that we are the superior team. Now, to believe that takes, in my opinion, very good preparation. You need the confidence to come from how we've prepared, and then you need the players' inner belief to be very high. And hopefully, with the more wins we can get, the more that inner belief is strengthened.
Touched on Joe Willock's pass. His overall game was really good. He's played really well consistently now and once. Did you say that England called? Did you look at the end season?
Well, I think I've said before, I think it should be his goal, without a doubt. That should be his personal motivation, and I believe he'll be getting closer after displays like that, because I think all action can do a little bit of everything. The attacking side, the defensive side definitely improved. I still believe there's more in there from Joe to show. More goals will come, I hope, for him. But he's got to be knocking on the door.
Scott?
Just to go back to Jacob, Eddie, I mean, he's kind of the latest out of players who've been given a chance and absolutely awesome. I mean, what do you think's changed in his game, or is it just a case that it's always been and he just hasn't had the chance to show it, or do you feel that he has really developed this season? I
think his game's come on. I think maybe for Jacob a consistency of positions helped. I think he's been, because he's so good in various roles, sometimes that's been a difficult for him to really get his teeth into what areas of his game he needs to work on, which is always difficult for any player if you're constantly changing. So I think maybe having that settled position off the right has really made him blossom, and he's then gone away, because he's a really hard worker behind the scenes. He's very diligent, always wanting to do extra, so he's been able to identify the areas he needs to improve, and he's really benefited from that, I think.
Kieran?
What's it like in the dressing room? Do you sense there's a hunger for more, there's no backpacking?
A little bit of happiness, which you want, smiles, and that feeling of winning is so unique, and I'm delighted for the players that they're getting to experience that. And then, I spoke about moving on to the next game very quickly, because in a 3-game week you can't get too high, you can't celebrate. I don't want the players to necessarily celebrate that win. I want them to be happy and content, but I want our focus to be on preparing now for Everton.
Do you feel that's just the latest standard setter that you can go up another level next time?
I think you always have to believe that. I think if you're going, well, that's us at our best, there's only one place, and that's down. So that was a glimpse, hopefully, of what we're capable of, but you've got to believe there's better and more to come from us.
Martin?
It's 20 minutes of a game, and it's just less than a quarter, but is that as perfect performance in that period as you've had it in your career?
Certainly my playing career never got that good, so my management career, I don't know. When I watched the game back, as I said before, I think, maybe in the last press conference I did, sometimes when you watch a game back and you think it's going to be really bad, it's not as bad as you think, and when you think it's going to be really good, it's not as good as you think. That's always been my experience. So that first 20 minutes, look, who knows what I'll think when I review it, but certainly in terms of goals and end product, it was a fantastic spell for us.
And did you envisage that you could blow away a Champions League rival quite like that?
I don't think you ever see the game. I didn't visualise the game going that way, no. But you hope that you can really impose your game plan on theirs. You really hope your players can impose themselves on theirs. But you never know how the game's going to go, because that's one of the beauties of football, the unpredictable nature of the game. What really pleased me is that we kept a high standards throughout the game. We never lost our rhythm, really, although we didn't score as fluently after that period. We stayed very current and in the moment.
In terms of how you would like your team to be identified,
Well, I think that's it in terms of intensity. Yeah, we can tick that one off in terms of our willingness to win the ball. Yeah, and our intention and desire to score, but not in necessarily a direct way in terms of linking and moving as a team. I thought it was at the highest level.
Louise?
Do you feel that Joe Willock is close to an England call-up?
Yeah, no, I just mentioned that and spoke about that. I think yeah, he's got to be getting close.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you.